Ben, I can understand your concern about this, but I don't see what you got to worry about. If little Joe is chasing a horse in Buckhorn Flat all day, there's no way he can be implicated in the death of this girl.
Well, maybe not legally, but Jake Parson and his boys think he is implicated.
Well, Ben, it was a terrible tragedy. They were overwrought.
Well, I can understand that, but I don't want my son gunned down by someone taking the law into his own hands.
Hey, don't you worry about the Parson boys, Pa. I can take care of them.
You'll do no such thing. You'll go to the sheriff and give him a full account of your whereabouts these last few days. And, Ben, you tell him what transpired between Jake Parson and yourself. That way, any protecting that needs to be done will come from the law.
Well, all right, Hiram. Came to you for advice, if that's what you think we should do.
That's what you should do. Well, Roy Coffey will know how to handle it.
Yeah.
Sheriff Coffey's not in town. He's in Carson City on that rustling case.
Oh, yeah.
New deputy, Rick Conley, I think, is in charge.
You think that'll make any difference, Hiram?
I haven't had a chance to get acquainted with Deputy Conley. But just to make sure, I'll send Jerome along with you to see that your statements are taken down properly.
Thank you.
Jerome, will you step in, please?
Yes, sir.
Jerome, I want you to go to the sheriff's office with Ben and little Joe. They're going to make a statement. And I want you to protect their interest and see that it's recorded correctly.
Do you want that taken care of immediately, sir? You know, Betty May and I do at the reception.
Well, that'll have to wait.
Of course. Is this Ponderosa business?
Well, not exactly. Little Joe's going to make a statement as to his whereabouts at the time of Mary Parsons' death.
Mary Parson? I hadn't heard.
Her body was found at the bottom of Indian Leap.
In 3 weeks prior to the company and Parson in the company of others. Well, this seems to be perfectly all right. All right for you both to sign it. I'll just witness it. That should take care of things.
Unless there's an inquest.
Inquest? Well, I see no reason for an inquest. It's obviously a case of accidental death.
Well, maybe it was and maybe it wasn't. That's not for me to decide. That's up to the coroner.
Well, I feel that an inquest would be completely out of order in a case like this.
Well, mister, I don't care what you feel. I'm running this office until Sheriff Coffey gets back, and I'm not about to decide anything until Doc Martin tells me whether it looks to him like this girl was hit, choked, shot, or whatever before she took that fall.
Well, we can understand your position, Rick, and we'll go along with anything that's necessary. Do you want us to stay in town?
That'd be a good idea, Mr. Cartwright. Jake and his boys brought the girl's body in. Doc Martin's making the examination right now.
You gentlemen will excuse me. I'm late for an appointment. However, I must advise you that even if there is an inquest, there's no need for you to stay in town. There was no witness to involve little Joe. I'll be able to handle everything at the proper time.
Thank you, Mr. Bell.
Bye, sir.
He's right, Mr. Cartwright. I can't keep you in town unless you want to stay.
Well, we'll stay in town until after the doctor's made his examination. We'll be in his office if you need us.
All right, sir.
What's the doctor going to be able to tell us?
I don't know. The more information we have, the better we'll be able to reason with Jake Parson.
Well, that girl fell to on her feet. I don't see how they could tell anything.
Doctor, were you able to reach any conclusion?
There's one conclusion that was easy to reach.
What was that?
Every bone in her body was broken.
Was there anything to indicate that, well, it was anything but an accident?
Not specifically.
Well, then it was an accident, then.
Could have been. Or it could have been suicide.
Suicide? What makes you say that?
She wasn't married, was she?
Well, you know she wasn't.
She should have been.
A son.
Oh, fine. I was never even alone with her.
I'm gonna have to tell this Deputy Conley right away. I guess you know that, Ben.
Yeah, I know that. I was just thinking about what Jake Parsons going to do when he finds out the truth. Well, thank you, Doctor. Why don't you better go home?
Hi, Ben. Hello, John.
Oh, hello, Doc. What's got into Ben Cartwright? You little Joe went by me like I was a rock in the road.
Oh, it's nothing personal, I'm sure. They're concerned about Mary Parson being found dead.
Mary Parson dead. When was this?
Our brothers found her body yesterday. Happened the day before, though.
The day before. I saw her that day around noon.
Where'd you see her?
Why, right on the road to Indian Leap. Must have happened right after I saw them.
Them? You mean there was somebody with her?
Sure there was. She was with little Joe Cartwright. I even waved to them when they went by.
You sure you saw her with little Joe Cartwright?
Don't you think I know little Joe when I see him?
Well, you'd better be sure, because you're gonna have to tell that to Ben Cartwright.
Tell Ben Cartwright why.
Because as soon as you've signed a statement to that effect and everything's legal, you're going with me out to the Ponderosa to arrest little Joe for murder. Doc, you better witness this.
All right.
Mr. Hardner?
Howdy. Rick, Mr. Hardner.
Howdy, Hoss.
Howdy, Hoss.
You Pa home?
Yeah, he's inside. Come on in. Come on in, man.
John. Deputy. Well, come on in, gentlemen. Sit down.
Thank you, Mr. Cartwright, but we're here on official business.
Oh, well, what does that mean?
You go ahead and tell him what you told me, Mr. Hardner.
Sorry as I am to say it, Ben. I saw little Joe and Mary Parson driving up toward Indian Leap day before yesterday.
You what?
You were in Parsons' buggy, little Joe. Your paint horse was tied on behind.
Mr. Hardner, that's not the truth.
I wish there'd been somebody else that saw you, Joe. It ain't easy to do this to a friend.
Pa, he's lying.
Oh, little Joe wasn't in that buggy. He wasn't nowhere near Indian Leap.
I know that.
Well, what are we doing standing here listening to this for?
Well, John, for some reason, thinks that he saw little Joe and Mary in that buggy. He believes it.
Well, what kind of believing can put a rope around Joe's neck?
And you still say that you weren't there.
Of course, I say it. I wasn't within 20 miles of that place.
All right. Comes down to your word against Mr. Hardner's. In a case like that, a jury's gonna have to decide it. I'm sorry, Joe, but I'm gonna have to take you in.
Get your horses ready. We're going to town. We believe you, boy. Never doubt that for an instant.
I'll take that, Joe.
Stop right there, all of you.
You don't have to do this. Little Joe's under arrest. We're on our way to town.
Get out of the way, Cartwright. I come out here to get one, but I'll take two if I have to.
Little Joe's not wearing a gun. You can't shoot an unarmed man.
What chance did he give my sister?
I never even saw your sister.
And that's what you'd say, sure. But she said she was going to meet you, and that's good enough for me. Get out of the way, Cartwright!
Don't be a fool, Pete. Let the law handle this.
Oh, Cartwright's a big name around these parts. One kind of law for you and another kind for the rest of us.
That isn't true, Pete.
Not this time, it ain't. I'm going to have me an eye for an eye. You ain't out of the woods yet, Cartwright. Wait till my pa and brother hear about this.